My mom taught me to sell at a spaza shop. She ran a hair salon. I pretty much learned entrepreneurship from my mom's.
Umntu ngumntu ngabantu. That on your own, you can't really do it. You need the support of those around you.
You will have a network of people, a network of communities, and a society that will make sure that you count.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of SAITA StraightTalk, the panel discussion series that we host live twice a week, and we talk about issues that are pertinent to the informal sector. The SAITA StraightTalk series is powered by SAITA, the South African Informal Traders Alliance, that aims to unite the informal sector under one sector, one voice. For the first time in 2022, I have got a selection of panelists that are all SAITA top structure members. So, you know, when I go and fetch the big guns, then you must know it is going to be a discussion that is worthy of your full attention. I'd like to welcome our Deputy President, Comrade Benny. Good evening and welcome to SAITA StraightTalk.
Good evening, comrade. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Can you hear me, comrade?
Thank you. We can hear you loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Thank you, comrade. I'm Benny Siemela from SAITA Deputy President, and in my province, I'm Benny, Deputy President of MAHA in the Free State. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We've also got our esteemed comrade GS, Comrade Michael Mokhoja. Good evening, Comrade GS, and welcome to SAITA StraightTalk.
Good evening, Louise. Good evening, our viewers. Good evening, the Deputy President. Good evening, Paul Bester. My name is Michael Mokhoja, SAITA General Secretary, and also in the Northwest Province, the Platinum Province. I'm the chairperson of the Northwest Province. Thank you.
Thank you. Comrade Michael knows that he has my heart because that is my favorite province in the entire South Africa. Good evening also to our National Director for SAITA Membership, Mr. Paul Bester, long overdue visitor on our panel discussion here on SAITA StraightTalk. Welcome.
Good evening, Louise. Good evening. Thank you so much for having us. All protocol observed. National leadership, welcome. Thank you for being here tonight.
Now, when we talk SAITA StraightTalk, we mean it. We talk about the good, the bad, and often the ugly. Tonight is going to be a little bit of both because there are some. This is a subject that we have broached a couple of times already. And yet it just comes back to the same thing over and over again. As much as we say, do no harm, we just don't seem to be getting the message across to the implementers of the law. So I'm going to start with you, Comrade Deputy President, and ask you to just set the scene for us in terms of what does SAITA mean when we talk about the Do No Harm campaign? Comrade Benny, can you hear me? Okay, I think there's a little bit of a signal problem with Comrade Benny. Can I ask you, Comrade GS, to answer the question while we're trying to get Comrade Benny back onto our live stream?
Thank you, Comrade Louis. Remember, the informal traders are the people who are not yet recognized in the South African government. Remember, since 1994, when this government comes in, they didn't recognize the informal trade. If you can realize, even if when you can go through what is happening right now in the Johannesburg, you will see most of the informal traders being harassed by the metropolis. It clearly shows that the ignorance of our government into the informal trader. Remember when the president gave the State of the Nation address, he mentioned the lady who was harassed by the metropolis when they took her stuff. And then the president said that no, it was wrong. They were supposed to do something. But that's the problem that we are daily facing. It's not only that situation, because there is a lot that is not covered by the media, that is happening by the informal trader, not only into the Johannesburg cities, but all over the South Africa. The informal traders has been taken, their goods has been taken by the police, by the metros, without consulting them. You remember there is a law that even if before they can confiscate your things, they have to give you the letter that says, due to this 1, 2, 3, you are not supposed to trade here. It's either you go out or we will confiscate it. But what is happening into this new South Africa that we have voted in is just that because of the informal traders are taken as a nuisance. They are taking our things without the proper consultation. That's when the SAITA, together with WICO, come up with a program said, do no harm. That means that please stop taking our things without the proper consultation. Please stop harassing us. Actually, this program, we face the government, we face the municipalities, the metros, that please stop taking the things of our informal data without proper consultation, without proper the law. Because we must remember that they must consult first. They must give you the letter that it says you are not supposed to be here. But they don't do that. They even if those who have the permits, but they take their things away. So it's what we are saying as SAITA, that do not harm to us. Stop
Thank you.
harassing us.
Thank you, Comrade Michael. Comrade Benny, your signal seems to have stabilized. I want you to please add onto that as the Deputy President of SAITA. What does that mean for us?
Comrade Lewis, for me, it's very much hurting. I'm talking like this, especially with a heavy heart when it comes, especially what my GS has already touched into so many things. But the problem is that we are having the government that doesn't listen to anyone, the government that listens to itself. And at the end of the day, they always told about the issues that will say they will do, but when there is a time for the implementation, there's nothing that they do for informal traders. As a South Africans or as informal traders as a whole, we are having one problem and one problem only: the government. Our government doesn't take each and every informal trader as human beings. Let us not shy away from that. That's why it comes to the people who have a dead ears, who doesn't listen to anything. In fact, the people who are always engaging about the informal traders, they are not relevant to us. They are not relevant. It's just someone will get the portfolio, will be part of whatever that he wants to be part of. But when it comes to do things for the informal traders, to develop the informal traders on the ground level, it's a curse. It's like it's a curse. It's a mess. And at the end of the day, you'll see yourself as an informal trader as if like you are not a human being like others. You are not belong to South Africa, as they say South Africa is for everyone. But to us as informal traders, it is a pain to be an informal trader. But at the end of the day, we are the people who make a living, an honest living, without harassing anyone. But the harassment, it comes from our own government and their own the bylaws that they already put there for us without us engaging with them, when they put all this engagement or all these issues that they say this is for the, maybe this one will develop the informal trader. There's nothing since ever I've become an informal trader for more than 20 years. There's nothing that our government has done for us, and especially for now for do not harm program of you'll hear like after 5 years, this one will promise us that no guys, here I am, I'm listening to you, I'm giving you my ears, so let us work towards the program or something. After 3-4 years, that person is being moved to a certain position, and then we come with a new one. We have to start again, but at the end of the day, they all forget that we are human beings, but we are struggling, and we have a challenge that's not being solved by everyone. Thank you, comrade.
Thank you, Comrade Benny. You know, Comrade Paul, I normally leave you for very last, but I'm going to bring you in slightly earlier this evening because when we talk, we're talking about the sector as a whole, but we have to pay particular attention to SAITA members and the benefit that there is in terms of aligning with us, especially when we are talking about the Do No Harm campaign, when we are talking about the confiscation of goods, when we are talking of the waiving of permit fees that's not being adhered to. I know that you have got some horror stories to tell us, and I know that there's some huge progression being made. Give us a snippet into your life in terms of making sure that our members are protected.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I want to just add on to what Comrade Benny has said and Comrade G has said regarding, no harm campaign. 90% of the traders that goes out to the street are females. And these are, they are facing the brunt and the full force of this, let's call it the illegal, sometimes confiscation, and just the type of hard-handed, in-your-face kind of action from the Metro Police. And these are mothers and they young women, some of them young, some of them very old, and they face the full force of the law, which is not necessary. The way that things are done and confiscated is hurtful to us. If you look at some of these issues, and this is maybe one of the 90% of these women that trade are trading in fruits and vegetables. When these fruits and vegetables are confiscated, first need to pay a fine and then have that released from the stores, wherever they keep this. The time that happens, the fruit and vegetables are no more sellable. And you will find 2,000 rands worth of fruits and vegetables is the whole property. That's all that she has. She has taken a 2,000 rand savings money to buy these fruits and vegetables to sell to feed the family. The 1,500 rand fine, 500 rand to release it, 2,000 rand's products, which is now stale or rotten. And so you've just killed the business and you've just killed a whole family to provide for the children. And so what has happened and what I've experienced is, as membership, I get these calls and I get these emails from people saying that we've just been fined. And you've touched on the waiving of permits. The permit system for everybody that has a permit and has lapsed permits and has paid up until in March, April of 2020, the president has signed a government gazette that says all permit costs has been waived until the end of December 2022. Meaning that if you were a trader that had a permit, even if it lapsed or you weren't not paying it, at the end of May of 2020, you can trade until the end of 2022 without renewing that permit. Yet the city of Cape and all the other provinces, as far as I hear, are not listening to that. It's as if the president signed a piece of paper that's good and nice reading material and it makes nice discussion points for us like a debate, but not implemented. And this has happened in Cape Town, and we are in Cape Town, our head office in Cape Town. And I've taken this to task. And on the 1st of March, I'm going to court on behalf of SAITA. And I'm going to represent the trader who has received a fine for trading without a permit. I'm going to represent that trader in the court of law. And I know 99.99% that the law is, the judge is going to rule in our favor because the document is clear. And as SAITA, we cannot be a workshop to the municipalities and tell them what new laws is there. They are the ones that must implement the laws to us. And the court will rule in our favor. That is so. And then I will take this to the media and I will take this to the president and to all provincial MECs that talks on economic development and say to them, here is the court order. Stop fining our people. Because the government, the national government has done, so the president has signed such a, government gazette. So I just don't know how else we need to go. As the only now option is we've engaged with all MECs, we've engaged with the the municipal officers, and it's just on deaf ears. And so we need to go to court. And this is what we will be doing on the 1st of March. Going to court, I will personally represent the traders of Western Cape in that. But that is going to be a ruling that's going to be to each and every trader. It's going to go to the General Secretary in North. It will go to Free, it will go to Eastern Cape. And in development, economic development, will get these court ruling and say, hands off our traders. Do no harm, leave them, let them trade, because that is what we as SAITA do, and that is what we stand for. Thank you, Louise.
Paul, I do wanna ask you something, and you might not be able to give me the answer. But if you saying in what I've just heard you saying, you said to me that expired permits you don't have to renew, and for this new year up until the end of 2022 you don't have to pay license fees. But what if I'm a new trader? What if I lost my job at the end of last year or earlier this year, and I want to become an informal trader? Is there a recourse for me? How does this work? Can I just go find a spot and sell my goods, or am I in breach of a law?
Okay, so to put it to you clearly, Comrade Benny alluded to the bylaws that's written, but not to protect the people that it's supposed to protect. And that's very true. The bylaws are signed and drafted by people who has got zero understanding of the informal sector and the informal economy. And so I know that certain municipalities still issue permits, many of them don't. And if you're in that department, in that area that don't issue permits, you as a trader will be trading illegally. So if you don't have a permit, that there's a waiver of permits, but it means for people who has permits. If you don't have a permit, you will not be covered by that. That's the ugly side, because there's so many that has work in the COVID. I mean, technically, say 2.2 million people lost their jobs due to COVID. Now, I always say this in Sikh, and I will say that again. I understand that about 10% of those are living a life of crime, and they are not part of us. But the rest of them, 1.9 million, has resorted to informal trading to keep the children alive, to keep the family alive, and to just have a dignified life, even if it is as a homeless person or somewhere that you live in a shack. But you do this to keep family, limb, and love together. And the bylaws are killing these people. This is exactly what Comrade Benny was alluding to. Those bylaws are stopping people to earn a living. And if you have listened to what the president have said in the SONA, is there's going to be a unit that's dealing with red tape. This is the red tape that we want to be dealt with. This red tape of having to go to a municipality, apply for a permit, and they say, no, we don't issue. So if you can't get work and you can't sell, what will you do? You're going to steal. I mean, it's obvious as what the sun will tomorrow if God protects us. It's obvious as that. Is that what will you do to earn and put food on your table for your family when you go out this morning? You can't sell bread and fruits because you're not allowed to, yet you can't, there's no work for you. What will you do? And a red tape that the president has said. And when the president said something, and I'm going to just go a little bit further, when he said it's not government's task to create jobs. As SAITA, we've been saying this all the time. Government needs to grow businesses and for us to build businesses and to build the industry. So we are saying to government, allow us in your inner circle at SAITA, invite the General Secretary, invite the Deputy President to your circle, and when you discuss these things on how to lift red tape, these are the people that has been working in the sector and has been chosen as leaders and can speak on authority when such decisions are made. And so we ask government and we urge President and the Minister in the Presidency, call Comrade Michael and call Comrade Benny, let him sit and tell him what can be done to lift these red tape, so that when the answer comes to you in the next Louise, we can say to you, no worry, that person has been addressed. There's a bylaw that addresses this. Go to the office, get that document, and start trading, because we want people to have dignified lives, and that means a job and a house. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Paul. What you're saying there resonates very, very deeply with what the vision and mission statement of SAITA is, and that everything begins and ends with the integrity of our traders to earn a decent livelihood. Comrade Benny, I want to come back to you quickly on what you said earlier. You said, and we know that government has up till now made decisions about us without us. We know that. But do you think, and I'm really playing devil's advocate here now, do you not think that the municipalities or the implementers of these bylaws have been using the fact that the lawmakers are up there and the implementers are down here, and there's nobody in between that makes sure that things are happening the way it should? Don't you think there's been a little bit of a misuse of power with our traders? Are you there, Comrade Benny?
Louise, your last part of the question cut off. Louise, your last part of your question cut off. You were frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm asking
Comrade
whether...
Louise.
Yes, Comrade Benny. Our signal seems to be playing games with us this evening. But Comrade Benny, what I'm asking is, do you not think there's been a little bit of misuse of power on the ground, where the implementers of these laws have really been twisting the law to suit their own needs?
You are spot on with that one, Comrade. I remember the last time when there was like informal traders, they were supposed to get help from during the time of COVID. And then our HOD in our municipality, the time that when government said that we must, the informal traders must be assisted with the funding through SAITA, EDF, SIDA, and all these people that needed to give assistance. Our HOD said the president can say something, but for us to implement what president has said, it's not like as like the president said, like maybe to like today say people are not going to pay their permits, and then they will listen to that. It will depend on them, on the municipality, how are they going to work with us with that one. So that's when I started to realize that. Hence I said to you, comrade, that whatever the president is saying, it will take us 10 years for the implementation of everything that they say. It will take us more than 5 years to implement what some, like maybe comrade President Zuma last time said something about us. That thing never happened with us till now. Now it's President Cyril Ramaphosa. He says something. That implementation, it will come after, maybe, I don't know, maybe when my son is now in informal trader too, but I don't want my son to be in informal trader or something. So I'm saying we have a challenge of on the ground level to say there are some of the challenge when it comes to implementing whatever that they discuss as a municipality to us, because of they differ, especially like now as a SAITA, as a national structure. We hear each other and our differences almost every time, and it's almost different. It differs with the province that you find yourself in. So with that question that you are asking, I can't say that, but I can't say anything about the bylaws. The bylaws that they give us is the bylaws of that time of the apartheid. They are still using those bylaws to us, and we have.
I really want to hear what Comrade Benny has to say at the end, and at the end of that, because it really, really is an indictment against our laws and our political will to make sure that everybody in South Africa has a decent living, if we are still being governed by laws on the ground that really upholds the whole apartheid narrative. Comrade Benny, I'm really sorry that you cut off there. Comrade Michael, as the General Secretary, I want to quickly come to you, because we've released a very, very strong worded press statement this morning, in expectation of what we're going to hear in the budget speech tomorrow, and a lot of that, and our expectation, Comrade Michael, has, whether you like it or not, it comes back to doing no harm, because to say do no harm doesn't stop just with confiscation of goods. It doesn't stop just with officials not adhering to the bylaws or implementing it correctly. But it also has to do with the kinds of taxes that we are expected to pay, and the money that's being made available to assist informal traders. Please give us just a bird's eye view of what SAITA's take is on our expectations from the budget speech tomorrow.
Thank you, Comrade Louis. Firstly, I will start from where the Comrade Deputy President was raising. Actually, we have the problem. You remember there is that law of administrative law, yes, where most of the municipalities are not practicing to that law in terms of dealing with the informal traders. Maybe they thought the informal traders, they didn't go to school, they know nothing about the laws. That's the first point. The second point, in terms of the bylaws, remember there is a redraft of the Business Act, and all the bylaws from all the municipalities are guided by the Business Act. But presently, the Department of Small Business are redrafting the Business Act. That is where the president was mentioning the red tapes, that we need to get rid of the red tapes, because from the Business Act, there is a lot of red tapes. For example, they demarcate without consulting. Once they demarcate the places, they will identify the places where there is no movement of the people. That must be used for the informal traders. That's where the problem that we are having. And secondly, the consultation of the municipalities with the local organization is very critical. Remember, we are saying nothing about us without us, but that is what the municipality is doing. For example, in the Mafikeng, we always fight with the municipal, take the municipality to court. And we always win the cases in court, because the municipalities are not practicing what's the law. The problem that we are facing is the individual within the offices of the municipalities, that they think because I have the problem with a certain individual, then therefore I want to show the informal traders that who I am. That's what the problem is. But if the government can, from the president, when he is talking about the red tapes, but if you can engage SAITA must be part of that. I think we are going to teach them a lot of things, because we are on the street on a daily basis. They are on the offices, so they know nothing about the informal traders. It's us who knows more about the informal traders. When I come in from the budget speech, honestly, as SAITA, we are expecting nothing from the government. The reason why I'm saying we are expecting nothing, remember when the COVID comes in, the first statement of the president, when he announced that there is a 500 billion that need to be used for recovery of the businesses, he said we will look into the informal traders. We have engaged with the previous minister about this, and the minister is gone. Is the new minister now. But we are still engaging. But they always said there is nothing for the informal trade. You see, well, other businesses, they've got a lot of money from the government to revive their businesses. But from the informal trader, it's nothing. And I can also assure you, during the lootings from Gauteng and KZN. The informal trader never received anything from the government until SAITA comes in with IDC so that they might see how can we assist the informal trader. And remember, most of the people that lost their jobs, they come into informal trader to be the informal trader. That's the easiest way to survive. That's the easiest way to put bread into the table for your families. That's where the problem is. That's why I'm saying, as SAITA, we are not expecting anything from the minister. The reason why I'm saying that, we have so many years fighting for the budget of the informal traders. The reason why we are talking about the budget of the informal traders, remember, we need to grow from informal. Remember the ILO recommendation R204, where we need to transit from the informal economy to formal economy. If the government does not come up with a budget that will assist the informal trader to transit from the informal to formal, how are we going to go there? That's the first point. The second point, remember, the informal trader is creating a lot of employment. A lot of employment. When we have 2 million informal traders, it clearly says we have created 2 million jobs. And if we can commit to that, each and every informal trader must create one employment, must hire one person. It means we'll have 2 million employed people. You see, and now presently now the rate of unemployment is very, very high, especially to the youth who come from school, from universities, got their degrees, but they don't have the experience. And our government, before they employ you, they want the experience. Where are you going to get the experience? That's where most of the businesses, they go for informal business, so that they must rebuild themselves before they become formal businesses. But how are you going to rebuild yourself, whereas the government does not assist you in terms of infrastructure, because we don't have infrastructure. In terms of funding, we don't have funding. We can have a good idea, but if you don't have the resources, how are you going to implement that? So now we are saying to the minister that please just consider that the informal trader can create a lot of employment only if you can put aside a budget for the informal trader. You know, the budget that goes to the small business does not cover the informal trader at all. Does not. That's where the minister, the previous minister actually told me that we do not have a budget for the informal trader. Maybe the present minister will come up with something different, but the previous one said they do not have the budget for the informal trader. That is why the informal trader, they have to put them under the program of TRAP. And then once you go into the program of TRAP, you need to formalize your business before you get funding. That's why they're indirectly implementing the R204, you see. And another issue that I think our government must look onto is do they comply with ILO legislations, ILO recommendations? You see, our government does not do that. But if they can go through with the ILO's got a lot of recommendation for the informal businesses, but our government does not consider that. The reason why they don't consider that is because they don't want to consider the organization like SAITA to be the partners that will work closely with them in terms of the implementation strategies on how can we come up with the strategies to implement a certain, like R204. R204, you just need to have the implementation strategy. But till now, we don't have it. Thank you.
Yeah, it leaves a lot of questions, especially with R204, because from informal to formal, according to whose standards? According to SARS standards, or in accordance to a trader that is able to start a little business but bank a profit? Because that could also be formalizing it without all the other add-ons. Paul, I want to come back to you, because we cannot have this discussion about SAITA and the work we're doing without talking about members. So I want to give you an opportunity to talk about the relevance of being a SAITA member in the bigger picture.
Thank you, Louise. Yes, look, as SAITA, we take on a lot of issues, and I think one or two issues that you've covered here tonight is something that SAITA does. Comrade, he talked about the IDC. Looting happened in July, in December past. We as SAITA, took hands with IDC, and SAITA initiated this program, and traders in Gauteng, excuse me, and KwaZulu-Natal was assisted with funding so that they can rebuild their businesses that suffered looting. These are what the members, and it was trader organizations that is members of SAITA that benefited from these programs. But over and above that, we do application. We assist with the CEDA and CFR applications when you want to build your business. We assist with tax issues. We have small, but there's also benefits regarding individuals that is talking on funeral, legal protection. So SAITA in a whole covers a wild array of issues. But we also take up issues and we take it seriously. We need to know a harm campaign and 2 or 3 other issues as SAITA we take seriously. And for that we are going to the Union Bill on the 21st of March. And SAITA has declared a national day of action on the 21st of March. And from across the provinces, all 9 provinces, people will, members of SAITA will gather and flock around the union buildings on that day. And we are going to speak to the president on that day. There's going to be a memorandum handed over to the president, personally talking on the issues of SONA, talking on the issues of what we may or may not get in the budget speech. So, but let's not preempt that. But what comes out of that is something definitely that we will address in our discussions. And in that memorandum will also be the call to call our leaders to that panel who's going to look at the red tape and the alleviation of the red tape issues. So this is going to happen on the 21st of March. We as SAITA are taking these issues very serious. Hence, we are approaching a building like the union buildings where the national government gathers and sits, and we are going to approach them, give them the memorandum, and expect them to come back to us so that there can be a working relationship between SAITA and national government as high as the president's office. So this is all, most of the things that we do. So we urge people and organizations to join SAITA, to be part of this huge organization that we are, and to from what we do on a daily basis for the organizations and for the the trader at large on the street when he is faced with issues that he or she cannot deal with. That's why we are here at SAITA, and you will see on the green banner on the bottom of the screen as a term our email address, our contact number that you can phone or WhatsApp. So we urge people get in contact with us, become a member of SAITA, and be part of the group that looks out for the best interest of the informal sector and the formal economy in South Africa.
Louise, let me add on that.
I would love you to add on that and also use it as your opportunity for closing words. Please, Comrade Michael.
Okay, Louise, remember that there is the challenge that you are having as an informal trader is the reason why we have organized that march on Union Building on the 21st of March. The issue of the permit waiver, where some of the municipalities they don't want to agree with the what president has said. That's what we want to ask the president. Do you have the powers of the president to instruct the municipalities? Because most of the municipalities do not comply with the gazette, where they must enforce or they must waive the permit until 2022. They are prolonging the time where we will end up being on December 31st of December 2022, but not having those permit waiver. So most of our informal traders are paying for their permits, of which is according to the Gazette, they are not supposed to do that. Is the reason why SAITA have realized that it's very important that we must stand united as the informal trader. Go to Union Building, give the memorandum to the president or the office of the president so that who we are But what is important is the media coverage, so that, because we can give them the memorandum, but if there is no media coverage, those people they will hide it, because they will realize the facts that you are coming with, it's serious. What we want from the president, the main thing is that the president must have the tax team that can see that each and every municipality is complying. And then they must have the strategy. If the municipality do not comply, what are the action need to be taken to that municipality? Because the municipalities, they got that tendency of not complying with what either the minister of COGTA or the president is saying. And then my closing argument is that as SAITA, we urge to informal traders anywhere where you are, please, if you don't have the organizations on your cities, please contact Paul Bester and Comrade Tusi Jackals as our national organizer. They will assist you, because as SAITA, we want to make sure that each and every municipality, we have the organization that will represent the people on that municipality. We don't want people to come out of the town somewhere to come and represent you while we have the issues with the municipalities. We want to train our people that they must represent themselves from the municipality. And lastly, we will urge to the finance minister that think about the informal trader. Think about the employment that we are creating. Think about the GDP that we are contributing into this country. We are the human being. We need your support, just like the formal business sector that they are getting the support. Thank you.
Comrade Michael, Comrade Paul, Comrade Benny has, I can see he's got signal problems and he's fallen off. I want to thank you. Thank you so much. I so look forward to having a follow-up discussion about tonight, because we've got the 1st of March coming up where Comrade Paul, you going into court. We've got the budget speech tomorrow. We've got a lot to talk about. And we've got a mass action planned for the end of March. So if you've been tuned in tonight, I know that the issues that we've spoken about here tonight has relevance to your situation or to somebody that you know that is an informal trader. Make sure that you share this video. Ask them to join the SAITA Media Facebook page, or you can go onto YouTube and follow the SAITA Media YouTube channel. From me, Louise, thank you so much for joining us again. Until next time, good night.